You're listening to the Belmar Bytes podcast, brought to you by Belmar Consulting. All right, welcome back to the podcast, Matt. Here we are, episode 14. Excited to chat with you again and sort of put down some of our ideas in this format, and it's fun. I'm actually I really like doing these because we spend so much time either on camera or in person talking to people. It's just a kind of a different way of using your brain to have a conversation and know that this is going to get published online and people can watch it and either learn or make fun of you. So that's I'm hoping they can learn something. And we are at our 14th episode of the Belmar Bytes podcast. So it's
Yeah.
we're stacking them up, and today we've got an interesting agenda that we put together. We're going to talk about some of the current trends, the current landscape, things that we're seeing in the sectors that we work in. I think we're going to focus mostly today on nonprofit, and maybe in following episodes we can talk about some of the other verticals that we work in. But today we're talking about trends that we're seeing in nonprofit. So maybe before we dive in, how you doing? How's the day going?
So far, so good. It's crazy that we've recorded 14 of these, Scott. And like you, I appreciate that we have these. I feel like it helps me distill down some thoughts. And it's funny, the team's done a great job at getting these produced and doing the heavy lift on the back end. But sometimes I'll be scrolling through LinkedIn and I'll just see my face pop up on there and thought, wow, I wish I wore a different shirt that day or something like that. So for the people who listen to this, I hope they get value, but I get value in just distilling down some of these thoughts. And I think the interesting part or cool part is we can look back at this in 6 months and say, hey, were your predictions right? Or were you vastly wrong here? Because today's episode is predictions. It's what are we seeing? And we're going to fact check ourselves in about 6 months to a year. And maybe people will say, hey, you got some crystal ball sitting in front of you, or they'll say you were drastically wrong here. So today's the prediction episode, Scott.
All right. So March of 26, we'll do a recap of this episode, and we'll see what was right, what was wrong. So hopefully we've got a good barometer, and we're close on many of these. So let's get into it. So in terms of I guess just to open things up here, talking about the current landscape. So just giving a snapshot of the nonprofit sector today, some of the challenges that the industry is facing, that our customers, our prospective customers are facing, and opportunities that are out there for these organizations to take advantage of and implement to really be able to see growth. And I mean, I use the word growth, but just I guess even just efficiency and doing more with less, which is a theme we've talked a lot about in previous episodes. So that's, I guess, the 30,000-foot view. But why don't you kick us off with I guess a snapshot in terms of what you're seeing right now in this sector?
Yeah, I'll start with kind of economic and financial stability of organizations, nonprofit organizations. Something certainly over the last couple of years, there has been a lot less just money available, be it through grants and whatnot, in conventional ways. So what I'm noticing is that a lot of the ways to obtain things like federal funding or grant funding require a little bit more prowess and a little bit more tact to be able to get that. I'm not saying that folks don't, but it is more challenging to get. There's not just money sitting on a table for you to be able to grab as an organization. You need to get creative in terms of how you obtain that funding. So that's one kind of trend that I'm seeing, is that there's less out there, which has pushed organizations to evolve and change. But also another kind of trend that I'm seeing is just the reduction in donors. There's certainly, whenever there's any type of economic instability, and one could argue that there's always going to be some level of this, but whenever there's any type of economic instability and there's less kind of free flowing discretionary dollars sitting on the table to spend, oftentimes what gets impacted is nonprofit organizations. Donations reduce or recline. And what that's really pushed a lot of organizations is getting creative again on how do they appeal? How do they make that ask as well? So those are two big ones, at least from a financial sense, is the creativity required, the tact required, and just the less uh, there's less just free flowing dollars sitting out there for organizations to latch onto. They've had to get real creative on how they get that funding. What are you seeing, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with most of that. I think there's we certainly see differences in different parts of the country, and we have the privilege of working with customers that are both in the United States and in Canada, and we have employees on either side of that political boundary, and so I think the climate is different uh, in the two countries, but I think the trend line, at least the one that I've seen, is certainly over the last maybe 3 years. There's been a decline. I'm a little bit more optimistic. I think that in the United States, things are are different than they are in Canada. And again, this is just my own observation. This is not based on anything other than I guess what I'm seeing. But I think there's uh, this theme of organizations having to get more creative uh, and continuing to be creative to execute on their mission is certainly something that is seen and felt in the conversations that we're having with these organizations. Uh, I think that's a really interesting segue into just talking about the this topic of using technology to drive
Hmm.
change within the organization. There's a lot of technology trends right now. One that we've covered quite extensively in previous episodes is AI, but just even thinking about Salesforce, not to lose sight of the fact that just if somebody is operating across multiple tools, just even the consolidation around a single tool can create efficiency. And so,
Hmm.
with these challenges that these organizations are facing, we certainly are strong advocates and believers that technology can really be a create a positive impact in the organization. And uh, so, I guess when we think about opportunity for organizations to navigate their way through, be it an economic challenge or
Yeah.
a staffing or personnel challenge, I'd love to hear your ideas as to some of the things that you're seeing, our customers take advantage of.
Yeah. So I would start with, well, in terms of technology as well. I, but before I talk about that, I'd want to just draw upon one example I heard from one of the executive directors that I just met with, in that just the ability to be digital. Never mind all of the kind of the future facing progressive technology, just the ability to be digital. Over the course of the pandemic, there was zero downtime, and that was not afforded when they were fully paper, when they were on triplicates, when they were manually charting things as well. So, like, that is one, like, absolute game changer that has been for them, is just the ability to be digital. But how am I seeing technology going to change things? I want to look at it in two different ways. One, the opportunity to scale impact, do more with less, be more efficient, but also the ability to push back against what I'm seeing as a growing trend, and that's staff burnout and team burnout. turnover. And oftentimes that's forgotten about. I was just at a client's the other day, and they were saying that the all of the folks I was chatting with had been there for 20 plus, 30 plus year. So you've got this pocket of people that have been there for a long time, but then you've got this pocket of people who are there for 1, 2, 3 years, and then they're gone because they're using and they realize they're not able to do what they signed up for because things that are holding them back, technology is not there, or the
Right.
technology that they are using is very inefficient. They spend more time doing manual things, data entry, data transposition, just stuff that they did not sign up for, and they get burnt out. And the reality is the amount of resources, like I mentioned at the start, there's less and less available, freely available. They're needing to get creative, and oftentimes that pinch ends up being placed on the individual who's doing that boots on the ground work as well. So the certainly technology has grown and enabled organizations, and I've seen a lot of organizations scale off of that. But at the same time, I want to also paint the picture that in terms of the landscape, what happens when there isn't technology, or what happens when there's not viable technology in there, and that it drives just that sentiment just lower and lower for the team and staff as
Yeah.
well.
Hey, so just maybe to unpack that a little bit more. And you're talking to customers. I'm talking to customers, and we're certainly seeing these types of trends. But I'm interested. Do you think you give the example of an organization that's got this institutional knowledge? They've got a cohort of people that have been there for a long time. I'm making an assumption that those individuals are, a little more gray hair. They're if they've been there that long, they've sort of lived to deal with just the way things are and
Yeah.
the inefficiencies. Are you seeing or hearing that some of the challenges these organizations are facing with staff turnover is a younger cohort of employees that are coming in and uh, are navigating out of the organization?
Yeah. I mean, comparatively to the 30 plus years, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think it's the expectation as to what technology should be doing, because the playing field is, hey, this other organization is already doing this. Why am I spending
Right.
double the effort to? I mean, in many cases, these are clinical care coordinators, or these are fundraisers who they are unable to do what they signed up for because they're
Yeah.
being there's a parachute pulled on behind them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a really interesting theme in that if I'm a leader in one of these organizations, I'm, most, well, let's just call all of our customers are mission driven, but it's still a competitive landscape. They're still competing for talent against their peers. And the younger generation, the digital first generation, I mean, they're wanting to uh, they're wanting to work in mission driven organizations, but they're wanting to work in mission driven organizations that are uh, technology progressive. And it would be disheartening to have that desire to work in a mission driven organization and get into one that just has no appetite for change. That would be very demotivating, uh, especially if they are aware of other organizations where it's different. And so, yeah, that's interesting. And so, how do you? I mean, the obvious, I guess, response to my own question, but I'm going to want to ask you this question: is how does an organization address this problem? The obvious response would be, well, just implement technology and become a
Mm.
digital first organization. Uh, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah. And before I talk about how to solve the problem, I think the one key kind of stakeholder in all of this that oftentimes gets the brunt of this too, not only the end users and the boots on the ground person doing the work, it's their clients, it's their donors. The expectation that technology, the baseline of technology, that expectation is so much higher now. As a donor, if you're giving money, the expectation that you're able to see how much you've donated, the expectation to be able to have easy to access receipts, acknowledgments, being able to see impact, that expectation is so much higher. The ability to donate online on a pretty simple to use form, or as a client or as a patient, being able to see your information and pretty easy, ready to use. That expectation is so much higher now. And I think oftentimes when you have a client, let's just say in a human and social services organization, when you have a client or prospective client who is putting themselves out there, making themselves vulnerable to sign up and say, hey, I need to get your services, but their experience is poor on the backside of it. They've got to do paper forms, they've got to update PDFs and email that in, and then you're jumping through different hoops. I mean, think about it this way. These are oftentimes really challenged populations in that if that experience is poor, that front door is tough to get through. Well, they'll just walk away from that and not even receive services, not even want to sign up for services. And there you go. You've be it lost a client, but also lost the ability to really support a challenged individual. So like, I think that part, the experience, the technology experience, and the expectation is so much higher. It's almost the expectation that when you go to a website, you're not expecting it to take 20 seconds to load. There's a threshold. I don't know what the research says now, but if I'm on a website and it takes 8 seconds to load, I'm probably going to exit that, or I think my internet is slow and I will go check out speedtest.net and say,
Yeah.
is my internet bad? So there's just these expectations. It's the tide has rised in terms of what people expect technology and what organizations to do. So either get on or get out. Then I'll kind of park that thought there. But how do we solve this? I think the solution can be technology, but technology is not a magic wand that you just wave over and say, implement this, and it's going to solve all your problems. I'd love for that to be the case. But I think there's a reason why people say people process technology. There's a reason why the three are intertwined. And the biggest thing that I think can help to solve that internal frustration for, and I'm talking about internal staff, internal employees, internal team members, is you need to have them engaged. You need to be able to reflect what I call the WIFM, the what's in it for me. You need
Yeah.
to be able to reflect that when you're making a technology or transformation decision. You need to be able to reflect what's the return for somebody internally. Is this going to save me 5 clicks? Is it going to allow me to report in a quarter of the time? Reflect that back. And if you get that buy-in, the technology, the adoption of that technology, the uses of that technology, then you can actually start to stitch together the value proposition that you thought you were signing up for. But when you have people that are not looped into this and it's just fully top down, this is what we're going to use, that's when that frustration that exists, it just perpetuates and it's just now pointed at a different system. So that's one recommendation, is involve people, plant the seed early when you're thinking about this move, get people excited, make it fun, gamify it, make it a contest internally of who can learn this, who can be participating in this as well. And I would say that is one piece of the puzzle, is getting buy-in for technology. What are you seeing, Scott?
Yeah. I mean, I think um, that's a good summary of getting communicating the vision, communicating with the internal team in terms of direction and how how the organization is going to navigate through the future with not only technology but just like having a communication strategy around keeping people informed. I think let's just run through a scenario. So I'm an executive director. I'm a CEO. I'm a leader in an organization, and I'm having this problem. I've got a cohort of uh, tenured individuals. Some of them may be planning to retire. I've got a cohort of younger individuals that are engaged, but I've lost some. How? What are the things that I could be doing today to? There's no magic bullet or magic wand that can be waved here that says, "Hey, listen, within the next 30 days, you're gonna have a better solution to these problems." But what can I be doing to address the problem that exists, which is you've got people that are in the latter parts of their career and people that are in the newer parts of their career, and expectations are very different across those two cohorts. Um, what I mean, maybe in answering my own question, it's one of the things that we've seen to be effective is helping organizations put together a roadmap, a technology roadmap, taking
Yeah.
a kind of a current state snapshot. These are the things that we do today. These are our sort of our processes today. These are the inefficiencies, and putting together a roadmap for how you can improve those. Where's the low hanging fruit? Go and deal with that maybe first, and show incremental progress to the team. I think of people even on our own team, and thinking of some customers that have got a younger workforce. I think people want to know that the problems are identified, and they want to feel like those problems are being addressed. And so it's impossible to go and address all the problems at the same time in parallel. You've got to do this incrementally. The word that comes to mind is you're going to get some grace from the people on your team if they are seeing the incremental progress. And so I guess that's me answering my own question in terms of how somebody can go about addressing that problem. But I guess as we're coming to the end of this, give me, I guess, just your thoughts as to I have this problem, I have this challenge. I know I need to overcome this, but I've got so much going on. I don't even really know where to start with it. What can I do?
Yeah. I mean, certainly having those conversations, working with partners like yourself, like ourselves, and just helping to have that conversation. Um, and I want to just really quickly pick up off of one thing you said about progress. I think this is a common trap that people fall into. And I think I'm a believer that progress over perfection. You just get started, get going, because the worst that can happen is you spend 10 years to put together this picture perfect landscape of what you're expecting technology to do for you. And by the time you go and implement it, that's obsolete and you've already frustrated your entire team. So just get started, but keep people involved, keep people looped in. But to help with this, I mean, you can absolutely do your independent research and look at what others are doing. But I think on a previous episode, we talked about where do you start? Talk to other organizations that are similar to you, see what they've done. If you've got an organization that is similar to you, I would recommend look at who you are similar to and look at who you want to be like. Have conversations with both and understand what the big differences are. But having a partner that is really your quarterback for these conversations, I mean, one makes things easier. It makes the experience a lot more smooth, a lot more enjoyable too. And I think that is a big piece of this is that when there's any type of technology or digital transformation, the reality is it should be exciting. It should be exciting. It's like I don't know about you. I get super excited when I get a new, I'm an iPhone user. I know you are as well, but I get excited unboxing. The unboxing experience is fantastic, but I get excited. And think about that excitement of setting up a new phone, even though takes a little bit of work to set it up and there's some lumpiness going across. When you open that box and you're opening up a new phone, I mean, that's the type of excitement that you should have when you're implementing new technology as well. It should be exciting. I'm solving problems. I'm making things more efficient. And I think when that feeling is lost or when it feels like that is no longer, then that's a real good inflection point as to is what we're doing actually going to improve the experience and the efficiency of our team? Do I have the right folks in the room to be able to make that happen? So working with a partner is just super vital to trying to stack the odds in your favor of making sure you have success on the backside. But that's my 2 cents, Scott. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I agree. I think, having an independent voice, somebody who can bring your team together, and take their ideas and help the leaders within the organization, help the board to develop a plan. That's a huge asset. So that is certainly something that we can help organizations with. And so, if you want to learn more about that, you can reach out. We would love to have a conversation. And we would love to even just get you connected with other organizations that
Mhm.
have gone and done this already, and you can learn from them. So, Matt, I think with that we will wrap up. Thanks for doing this, and
Yeah,
thanks
likewise.
everybody for listening. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Great. Thanks, Scott.
This has been another episode of Belmar Bytes, brought to you by Belmar Consulting. You can follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or on our website at belmarcloud.com.